Nivedita, for giving me an opportunity to interact with the young entrepreneurs from KIT Technology Business Incubator. And it's indeed an honor for me. So good evening to all of you. Though I cannot listen to all of you right now as everyone is on mute, but I can sense the energy of all of you. But in this energy is also a concern at the background when we look towards the future due to COVID-19 maybe. But trust me, friends, it's absolutely normal to have such feelings. And we'll all come out as better human beings after this experience. So let me begin by sharing my some discussions I had with few entrepreneurs, CEOs, CMOs, and CXOs of various organizations over the last few days or last few days since COVID-19 started. There are few things that are common in messages that everyone gave. All of them said that we were not taught about how to deal with this situation. Everyone also said that we have not had any case studies about this particular situation, COVID-19 either. We all have to apply our knowledge and learnings in an entirely different way. So even 20 years plus of experience doesn't match to the 50 days plus experience of the lockdown. So time to revisit some learnings and time to apply some new learnings. And that's why we are all gathered here today for a mutual learning experience. Yeah, just a second. Yeah. So means this, I guess you people know it better than me. So whatever path we might have taken to get on this journey of entrepreneurship, a traditional path or a design thinking path or a 5D path, but we are already on this path of entrepreneurship. And I assume that all of you have done these things. All of you have had a look at the customer pain points. Then there came an idea, and then how your idea addressed those pain points. You must have tested the feasibility of the idea. How are these ideas addressed at the moment? Who are your competitors, and how are you different from your competitors? So all of you must have done all these things right now. I'm pretty sure about that. So thank you, Professor Kotler, who gave us the 4 Ps: the product, the price, the place, and the promotion. So once we have the product in hand, what happens normally is that we just get ready to design the 4 P strategy. So what is my product? What should be the pricing strategy? What is going to be the place strategy? How is my product going to reach the customers? And what is going to be the promotional strategy? So in that process, we often forget why we actually became entrepreneurs at the first place. Maybe some of us already had a product, so we just became entrepreneurs because we already had a product or a product idea in our mind. Or some of us might have been looking at some problems which we were wanting to solve, and then we had an idea for that, and we tried to solve that problem through that particular product. Or some of us also felt that, okay, the government is talking so much about entrepreneurship, so I don't want to really miss out on this. Let me just take a chance till the time I'm studying, or maybe I just want to be my own boss. So there are various reasons why we got into this journey of entrepreneurship. And there would also be some of us who would have actually got into this because we genuinely wanted to change something which was present. So whatever may be our reason, but when we actually became entrepreneurs, somewhere we at present, means including me, I would say, means like earlier I was working as a consultant, means after I left my active pharmaceutical career. So I've been working as a consultant from quite a long time. And then I started my own company. So, but after being an entrepreneur, our company, we are always in this particular chicken and egg kind of a situation. Now, why do I say that? Because we are surrounded by incubators, we are surrounded by VC investors, we are surrounded by business presentations, numbers, and I feel somehow we miss the big picture. We tend to forget the basics. Basics, what our product is, who does it cater to, what problem does it solve? Because I think the product becomes a center of the universe for all of us. So our daily turmoil takes over and we forget going back to the customer, and we lose to see the larger picture somehow because of the innovators bias, which I guess all of us have. So what is the larger picture that I'm talking about? The larger picture actually begins somewhere even before the 4Ps. How we actually reach the 4Ps to create a product that delivers well, that promises, that makes it available to the customer at the right price for the right segment, and to make it reach the customers or the consumers, whosoever it may be, depending upon whether our product is a B2C kind of a product or my product is a B2B kind of a product. So what are the other P's that we often miss out as entrepreneurs, and not just the new age entrepreneurs I'm talking about, even the people who have been in business from long, they also miss out on some of the very important things. And I'm saying this through my own experience. I've seen people missing out on some things which we consider as taken for granted. The basics, we never want to go back to the basics. So that's what we are here for, to discuss that why as entrepreneurs we actually need to look at a larger perspective. So the first P that I would be talking about today is the proactive anticipation. So proactive, I guess everyone knows that making things happen rather than waiting for things to happen. So that means if I'm a proactive person, I would make things happen. I would anticipate in advance what is going to be the future. But let's look at a recent example of COVID-19. This situation of COVID-19 actually caught everyone off guard. Nobody knew the gravity of situation, the seriousness of the thing, that it would actually escalate to this level what it is today. So it could not have been anticipated proactively. No one could foresee that. But today we can at least foresee, or we can actually anticipate what changes it would mean in the near times and the long term future. So that's what the governments did, that's what the entrepreneurs did. And let's understand this proactive anticipation by looking at a journey. What is the journey? So I've just taken an example of COVID-19 because I feel this is something which all of us relate to today. So this is the typical journey of a COVID-19 patient, or even also of non-infected people. So there are people who might catch infection, they have symptoms, they may go to a doctor or seek some help, then they may go for testing, test positive, they go to a hospital or a home isolation. And simultaneously, once they were not tested positive, or once they were maybe asymptomatic, they were also part of the other journeys of daily activities of various things, going for grocery shopping, going for medicine shopping, or tomorrow maybe when all the people are fine, or means even today also when we have to commute to the offices also, there will be so many journeys that we will be undertaking. So why am I sharing this journey with all of you today? Because in this entire journey lies a host of opportunities that only an entrepreneur will be able to see. So but how would an entrepreneur be able to see that journey or to see that opportunity? If that entrepreneur knows what is the journey of a person, if an entrepreneur knows what is the journey of a patient, if an entrepreneur knows that, okay, if an entrepreneur just focuses on the hospital journey, then maybe that entrepreneur will get to know that if I just focus on the entire journey of various things happening in the hospital during the time of COVID-19, then can I do something about the screening? Can I do something about the prevention of COVID-19? Can I do something about the symptomatic treatment? Can I do something about monitoring of the patient? Can I do something about maybe create a separate hospital journey? Or maybe if I'm an entrepreneur, I may even think ahead. I may think, what would happen tomorrow when the OPDs of hospitals start opening? Would the doctors be comfortable seeing the patients? Or how would the doctors be interacting with the patients without the fear of catching some kind of an infection? Because today everyone is fearful of interacting or coming in close contact with people. But what about a doctor who has to actually do a surgery, who has to actually even see the patients in the OPD? So in all these journeys, if any one of us, we pick up one journey, or if we can do something about, can I make the commute to office safe? Can I make disinfection in office easier? Can I make contactless, say, commuting to office possible? So these are the various journeys. And even tomorrow, say, for example, like earlier we used to go to watch movies in PVR, etc. So can someone actually find a solution? What would happen? Or can someone actually anticipate that how can we make that viewing of movies in PVR a safe kind of a customer journey? How would customer feel safe while going out? How would customer feel safe while means doing an air travel? People are thinking in that direction today, and that's what is proactive thinking. People are thinking what might happen, say 1 year down the line, because we don't know. We are sure, one thing is for sure, that the journeys are not the same today. So when I talk about a journey, a customer journey may include so many things. So once a customer is actually making a decision, or say a customer is facing a problem. So while a customer is facing a problem, before that, before finding a product, before finding a solution, what are the steps that the customer or the consumer is taking about finding a solution to that problem? What are the goals of the customer or consumer while he's trying to find a solution to that problem? What are the touch points? Does he search on the Google? Does he call up somebody? Does he talk to some people? What are the activities that the customer or the consumer does? All those activities, do they make the consumer or the customer happy or sad? Are those activities difficult or are they easy? I know I'm talking so many things. And then what happens during the journey, means when the customer actually makes a product purchase, what is the customer doing after making a product purchase? So why I'm talking about this is because every product, every service that we are dealing with has a customer journey. Before the customer actually makes a decision to buy a product, during the process of using that product or service, and after using that product or service. If as an entrepreneur we know that okay, this is the way the consumer goes through that journey, then only we can find out gaps in those journeys and then create products that will act as solutions for the customers, right? Even in this direction, there's another thing that we as entrepreneurs can think about. I don't know, some of you are dealing with B2B kind of products, some of you are dealing with B2C kind of products. So can we look at these customer journeys or consumer journeys? What were these journeys before COVID-19? What are these journeys during the period of COVID-19? And what would these journeys look like 2 years down the line? My product's journey, say if like some of you are dealing with, I saw some of one of the person is making a rice cooker which takes care of the starch, or somebody is working into green energy. So what are the consumer journeys or the customer journeys that the customers used to go through before COVID-19 was there? Now how is the customer finding about or purchasing my product? Can I change that journey today? What can I do to offer better thing to a customer or consumer right now? And 2 years down the line, did the business model with which I started my company, will it remain valid 1 year down the line? Will it remain valid 2 years down the line? I don't know. So those are the things that we need to look into as the entrepreneurs. And then this is just an example. Means I think I'll share the slides because I think I have to keep a tab on the time as well. That this is about a rheumatoid arthritis patients, and here this side are written some of the needs and pain points. And normally what happens, a pharmaceutical company will try to find solutions. Okay, this is the problem. There's this kind of an inflammation which happens in rheumatoid arthritis. Joints are having these problems. So okay, what is the kind of solutions as a drug that we can propose? But if a company starts to look at the pain points of the customer, of the patient, so what is it that this particular patient, this is the journey of this particular patient called Lucy. So it says that she was a painter and she's not able to rotate her wrist, so she's not able to paint. She's anxious about her worsening symptoms. She is scared about reading about this particular disease. She has fear of injections. So all these things give new opportunities to a pharma company. So that means what is this patient needing from pharma company? She doesn't need a drug only. she needs support from the pharma companies, rheumatoid arthritis ambassadors. Maybe she needs education on the side effects. Maybe she needs appointment management. Maybe she needs a group of patients who are talking about their problems while they are having this particular disease. Similarly, this is another case study which I just recently found out. This is also coincidentally about rheumatoid arthritis only. So one big company called Roche, they did this case study. They tried to find out what is it that a patient is feeling, or what is the definition of a rheumatoid arthritis patient when he says that I am well treated. So it is more about the quality of life that the patient has. So what they did was they designed a questionnaire, right? They asked the patients, so what is the perception of the patient to feel well? And they designed a questionnaire to find out, a digital questionnaire, so wherein they talked about the functional solutions that the customer is looking forward to. So I should be able to hold things in my hands, the emotional solutions, the life condition solutions. My family should be able to understand my problem, the level of pain, etc., the side effects, adherence levels. And then the company actually finds out that the reasons for a patient not taking therapy are more than the drug itself, right? So there are some of the things like recently, while not recently, some time back, we actually had a design thinking workshop, and there was our main trainer. He gave us an example about a rheumatoid arthritis patient only, and it was found out that doctors were saying the adherence is not good, your drug is not working fine, and then they went to the patient and found, means went to few patients, and they found out that the pill box in which the tablets of that drug were kept, the patient could not open the bottle. Why? Because she had rheumatoid arthritis. That old lady had rheumatoid arthritis. She could not open the cap of the bottle. And such a basic thing, the company could not find out because they were just offering solution in terms of a problem. Okay, these are the symptoms of the disease. These are the solutions in terms of the therapeutic solution that the company delivered. But the entire journey, if the company would have a look into, they would actually be able to offer a better solution to the customers or the consumers. So the point is that we need to actually, as entrepreneurs, whatever we are doing, be it a product, be it a service, we need to map the entire journey of our products. We need to know every bit of our journey. And let me tell another thing, that like we do the prototype of our product and we go out and we test the prototype of the product, similarly, we need to test the prototype of the customer journey that we people have created. It is very, very important to create that journey. So we need to really do that to take care of the customer. So this is just a summary of the customer journeys, means how do you actually define the customer journey, how we have to actually understand the customer journey, looking at the various touch points where the customer is interacting with my product, or if the customer is even finding out about my product, because that's also a part of the thing when we are actually delivering the product to the customer. If I just have a very good product but the customer is not able to find out about my product, what is the point of having a good product if it cannot reach the customer? That's why 4Ps come into existence. That how do I make my product reach the customers? So do I know the touch points, how the customer is actually searching about my products, then anticipate the customer needs, expectations and everything. And finally, we need to have a detailed overview of the customer journey so that we know that, like for COVID-19 today or before COVID-19, this was the customer journey. During COVID-19, this is how the consumers and customers are actually purchasing that product or not purchasing that product. Can I actually improve that journey? Because then my product and my service will improve. And what would happen post COVID-19? What would happen to the journey? So that's about proactive anticipation. So a key strategy for new normal is, means rather than just thinking about product, we have to think about customer experience. Are we actually offering a customer experience to the customer? Is our product creating an experience? Is the customer happy after experiencing our product? Right. So that was the first P. So I'm a little fast now because I can see the time as well. So we had a look at the proactive anticipation thing. The second most important P, a very important P, which I like a lot, is pruning. We need to have a scissors in our mind. So because we as entrepreneurs, we have fertile minds. There are so many ideas that keep on coming to us, hundreds of ideas every day, and we need to prune it to work on the best one. So why do I have a picture of rosebuds? Because ideas are like rosebuds. And if you talk to a good gardener, that gardener will tell you, if you do not prune the rose shrub, what will happen? The rose will wither away. The rose plant will die away, because there are just a few number of roses which can flourish on the rose plant. And for that, the pruning of the rose plant is very, very important. Same way, as an entrepreneur, we have to prune our ideas. Now, in the case of a gardener, the gardener is actually pruning the roses so that means good quality roses come on that plant. But yes, we don't have to dump our ideas. So what we can do as entrepreneurs is we list up all our ideas, then we prioritize our ideas. Prioritize means what? Prioritize means that, say for example, today, what is the idea which is very, very important? What is the idea that I can work on right now? What are the ideas that are good? So I prioritize the ideas. Like today is the COVID-19 situation, so there are certain things which have to be done on a priority basis because it's a pandemic situation. So what is the idea that I need to apply right now? So we pick up 5 ideas and we store the rest of the ideas in an idea depot, as I call it. So that means we deposit our ideas and then we later on extract our ideas. That ideas are stored somewhere. We extract that idea, then we plan and put that idea to practice at a later stage. So if you do not have an idea depot, I would request all of you to create one, because that's very, very important. Another thing regarding pruning is, I feel that if we have 2 ideas that can somehow be combined with each other, so that also works really well. Say for example, again, if I talk about the example of COVID-19, today we have the rapid testing kits available in the market, which are manufactured by my labs, and so many other companies are also working on that. So how the technology of those kits actually came? It came on handy with the already available technology, like the pregnancy detection kits, or there are some endotoxin tests which are also being developed at IIT Delhi and also the Venture Center Pune for diagnosing UTIs in a very small time. So they are working on the same product, and they are using the same system, the same technology that has been used in also the pregnancy detection kits and also in the rapid testing kits which are getting used right now. So same way, we can also combine 2 different ideas and create a new idea, or we can maybe, in the situation of priority, we can maybe combine a technology which is already existent and how we can actually incorporate that in our product, and we just implement that particular idea. And rest of the ideas means we cannot work at 100 ideas at a time, so we have to prioritize, pick up the most important one and put the rest of the ideas in the idea depot. Then what actually pruning leads to? So pruning, as I say, scissor in the mind. So why do I say that? Because pruning is also making life easier. So that's reducing the size of the decision tree. So I've prioritized. I know, okay, these are the ideas I'll work now at this particular time. It reduces the complexity. So even if we have already launched our company, we want to launch so many line of products, so many different products, so many different variants of that product. We have to think that would all the products fit into my company? Would it fit into the portfolio of my company? So all those things are also taken care of when we are actually having scissors in our mind. So, and it also reduces the indecisiveness that we might have as entrepreneurs. Then pruning also enhances focus. It also enhances the predictive accuracy. If I'm working on a good idea, I've already prioritized that idea. I've put that idea into so many tests, and I know that this idea is going to work. I've tested that with the customers. I've gone back to the customers to check that idea, to do a prototype and check that prototype and rework that on that idea again. So it is saving me on the cost also, because I'm working on that particular idea. And we are also saving on the time which is required to work on that particular, means more ideas we can work on at a later stage. So my focus would remain on the ideas on which I'm working at that particular time. Next thing, next P, which is important. So we have done proactive anticipation, we have done the pruning part. The next P that is very important is the pragmatic part. Now, these are means why I've designed my presentation like this is to share the concepts of marketing in a simpler way, right? Maybe at a later stage when we meet again, we can talk about each particular thing in details, right? So, but these are the things which are not just marketing ideas, but they are also part of our entrepreneur mindset, right? So pragmatic means that, okay, what are the things, means let me just have a test of the means let me test my product or the idea to three things. Does the customer want that? There can be a possibility customer doesn't have a need, but there's a problem which exists, so we have to take that into account, that there are some unmet needs, customer doesn't recognize those needs. So then we create that idea, we take that idea or we take that prototype to the customer and find out whether this is what was the solution to the problem that the customer is facing. So we look at the desirability at the customer's level. At the business level, we look at the feasibility. Would it be viable to, or viability in terms of the business? So would it be viable to work on this idea? Are there so many number of people who would be takers of this particular product? Would it be commercially viable for me if I want to work on this particular product? What is the amount of competitors that are there in the market for this particular product? So would it be viable for me if it is such a scattered market, so many people are already present in this market? So does it make sense to me in terms of business to enter this particular market? And also in terms of technology, I'm thinking of something which is out of the box. Maybe 20 years down the line, that technology we might have existent in the market, but it's not existing today. So is that idea feasible today? So all these things, three things, we have to actually make our idea go through this particular test. So the desirability, the viability, and the feasibility, and look at that whether our idea is practical or not. And then another way to look at our product is to look at this particular matrix, which talks about good and different. So is my product good but not different? So that means there are so many products already available in the market. So maybe I may not be able to create a differentiation of my product. If my product is not good and it's not different, so that means no point working on this particular idea. So, okay, I have a great idea. It looks very different, but it's not good. Again, doesn't make any sense because it's not meeting the needs of the customers. But if the idea is good as well as different, then it will be this particular product or service, or the product that comes out of the idea would be well differentiated in the market. So that would give me a long term sustainable competitive advantage in the market if I work on this particular idea, which is good also and which is different also. So that's another way to test our ideas or the products. Now this is one, means too much of text in this market because I just included it just before our presentation. I just came across a news and I thought to share with you people. So this is about somebody who is working on a startup which is called Vahan, and they make Karuna seats. So these are the seats which can be actually fitted into any car, and they are for the comfort of elderly as well as for people who have, means who are differently able. So this particular seat can be fitted with any car. So why I'm talking about this thing, so this is a very practical solution, because we, when we design cars, companies actually don't think about, okay, means companies are designing a product which is applicable for all the customer segments. But today when people have the buying capacity, also when there are so many number of elderly patients, elderly people in our population, so many differently abled people in our population, so this particular person saw that people were facing such problems, and he created those seats which can be fitted into any car, right? So this would come at a cost of this much, 75,000 plus GST, and it could be fitted in any car. And this was economical as compared to similar products available in the international markets as well. So this person now is also working to create electric wheelchairs for cars. And by the way, these seats can also be attached, means say if there's a patient who is coming on a wheelchair, then the patient can be transferred from the wheelchair to the inflatable seats that are there, and those seats can then be pushed inside the car. So what is it? Why did I talk about this? Because this is a practical solution which a person has created, an innovator has created in line with the needs of the market. So that solution which is practical, which is pragmatic, which is taking care of needs which are existing in the market. And then, as I said, that okay, we have to look at the business viability of the product. So one way of a very important thing that we need to do is we have to do a market sizing. So I won't be touching too much about the market sizing today, because as I said, it's a overview kind of a session today. So we can always have a separate session on market sizing particularly. So how do you calculate a market? So we look at various things. We look at the potential market size, we look at what is the target population that you people are selecting, so target users, then what is the trend of the market, the overall market, as well as the target market that we have selected, who are the major competitors, what are the products and services available, how much of funds do we have, so how much can we actually expand. Will I be only able to expand in a particular state, or do I have the funding available that I can go pan India, or do I have a funding available that I can go across the globe as well? So what are the kind of things? So that all these things are taken into consideration when we look at the market sizing, and we look at the other factors, the legal factors, the political factors, all those factors while we do the market sizing. So I'll just skip that slide. So what is very important, once we are doing a market sizing also, and we are looking at how do we stack up against the competition. So is my product a better product? Is my product better packaged? Is my product offering some ease of accessibility? So that is also defining the viability of my product. If there's already a product available which is fulfilling the similar needs and it's not different from my product, then there's no point entering in that particular market. Do I fill in a gap of a customer need? Then am I offering better affordability? This is also very important in the Indian market, because today so much of things is happening on the grassroots innovation level, because we have to look into a product which can be actually consumed by a larger population of India. So when we are doing this market analysis, we just do not look into just the direct competitors. We look at the indirect competitors. We look at what are the products with which my product can be replaced also. Say for example, if I'm working on a green solution for this say a green kind of solution, then what I would be looking at a sustainable energy solution, I mean. So my competitor would also be fossil fuels, my competitors would also be coal based electricity plants, so many things would be my competitors. So I just don't have to look at just the direct competitors, but also the indirect competitors, and plus also things which can replace my product. So this is a way broadly I've shown you that once, as I said, that we have to select which target market that we want to enter. So we can actually divide the market into different ways. So how do I decide which market, means how am I segmenting the market per se? So am I doing a geographic segmentation? So again, depending upon, would I be entering on a state level, or am I dividing the market depending on the country? Or am I dividing the market depending upon the age group of the people to whom I would like to cater? Or if my product is, say, gender specific. So these are the various ways how I can actually segment my market. So this also, I think this is something which is a complete session in itself, which cannot be dealt in just a small little bit. But these are various ways how we can segment the market. So why did I put it here is because as an entrepreneur, we need to segment the complete market first of all. And then segment is what? Segments are people who have similar needs. So we divide the market into different parts, and each part of that segment, or each part which is called the segment, would have similar needs. Those needs may be because we are having the similar usage of the product. Those needs may be because we have a similar personality. Those needs may be because we are facing a similar kind of a problem. So these are different ways of segmenting the market. And then I, as an entrepreneur, would pick up that, okay, this is the target market segment in which I want to enter. And then depending on that, whether I want to be a mass market kind of a product, I want to be a niche market kind of a product, what is it? How many customers? How big a target market do I want to enter? And depending on that, I would do the calculation and forecasting of my product for the future. So in one particular table or Excel sheet, if I have to just compare all the competitors, so we can write as competitors, what is the size of the competitor, market share, what is the value, the unique value that these competitors are offering to the customers, what are the strengths of those competitors, what are the weaknesses. So likewise, we need to have a detailed analysis of whatever competitors are available in the market, because then we will be able to understand where is my product placed vis-a-vis the competitor products available in the market. So what is the perception of the competitor product, and similarly, what is the kind of perception that I want to create for my own products. And then once we do all this, we'll have ideas about who are you, what does my company stand for, who is my customer, what is my product, what is in it for means for the customer through my product, why should the customer buy my product. So all these answers, once we answer for ourselves first of all, then only we will be able to create a brand out of the product that we have created. So we need to just get into all these basics, and then only we'll be able to convert our product, which can be a generic kind of a product, to a brand. Again, another question, another important P which I feel which comes to everyone's mind is whether we should have a niche product or we should have a mass product. So I would say it's always good to have a niche to mass kind of a product. So that means you start niche, then once you start growing up, once people start using your product, maybe you start from a region, then you expand to a, say, north zone or east zone kind of a thing, and then you expand to the entire country. So the highest chance of success is when your offerings are populist. Even if today I may not be in a position as an entrepreneur to reach out to the entire country, but if my product is such that tomorrow it can be used by all the customers in that particular market in which I'm targeting, then my product is a populist product. So example here, I just put in a picture of Henry Ford, who before he launched Ford cars, before that the cars were used by the wealthy and the elite, and then he launched a product which is used by the elite people, and then he actually made millions with this particular product. So this is how actually a particular small product can actually become a power player or a mass product over time. This doesn't happen just 2-3 years down the line. It will take years to build this kind of a power brand, this kind of a mass market kind of a product, but it would always start from a niche. So I have a niche in the kind of offering that I've created for the customer, and then more and more people, once they start adding to use my products, then my brand becomes growing big. So initially maybe just influencers are using, then some other people start talking about my product, so my product only is speaking for myself or my company. And then of course I do a lot of marketing also, or a little bit of marketing also, and then reaches a large number of people. But what I am saying this is that if my product has a potential to convert from a niche to a mass market kind of a product, then the chances of my success as an entrepreneur is big. That means I would be there in the market for a long time. I would not just vanish in 2, 3, 4 years. So that's a long term kind of a strategy that I am having for me as an entrepreneur. Then again, as we said, it has to be populist, as we said, that if we can reach out to a larger audience of people, right? And like we see that Arogya Setu has reached out to so many people. Just in 41 days, it has more than 10 crore users. So if a product has the potential to be a populist kind of a product, then the chances of that product's success is pretty high. Then remember one thing, friends, we cannot do everything ourselves, right? So we should be open to partnering. So specialist mindset is do few things the best in the world and partner for the rest. And we can always, if it doesn't work out well with a particular partner, we can change the partner. But if we try to do everything ourselves, we cannot change our organization every now and then, but we can always change the partner. So what are the various reasons for which companies do partnering kind of a thing. So if I have developed a product, it has got an IPR protection, but I do not have that kind of a funding to scale it up, so I may do a partnering for scaling up my product. I have developed a product, but I am not able to reach it to a larger audience of people. Maybe I license out my technology to somebody else, and then we work on the synergistic strategy. Or for, as I said, for increasing the reach also, we may do alliances and collaborations. So a particular partner ecosystem would help you in creating niche, or it would help you in creating the reach, it would help you in reaching out to larger volume of people, and it would also, if we want to increase the transactions of our product, then we can always work with different channels so these are various kind of partnering strategies that we can do for our products. Like, again, coming back to COVID-19, today whatever research is happening on COVID-19, it's an open research kind of a thing which is happening. So many companies are collaborating together because we want a solution as soon as possible. There's an alliance for the vaccines, there's an alliance for the drug which is being developed for the treatment, there's an alliance for means accelerating the COVID-19 treatments, there's an alliance for the plasma based therapy, there's an alliance for the test kits, so there's an alliance for everything. So we as entrepreneurs have to be open to partnering kind of activities if we want to actually grow big. And then the backbone of my company, of our company, has to be very, very strong, which is the policies. So as I say, policies are the backbone of any company. They keep the organization upright, strong, flexible, and it gives structure to the organization. So what are the various kind of policies that we can have? And why I talk about policies right now? Because it's always good to create your company's policies from day one. You would have clear value system for your company. This is what my company stands for. I will do this, I will not do this. So these are my value systems. This is my IPR policy, this is my partnering policy. Not that when I reach 2 years down the line, I'm thinking, okay, what are the kind of partnering strategies that I should have every kind of policies. Like digital policies, so many companies didn't have digital policies. They didn't have an option of work from home. Now everyone is working, and the systems were created as a reaction, not as a proactive anticipation, because nobody had a similar kind of a policy. Similarly, posh kind of policies, prevention of sexual harassment at workplace, so all those policies are the backbone for any organization. So don't leave making those robust policies till we actually face a crisis situation. Now this is how, means even though I haven't talked about business plan in details, but if you just have a look at Lean Canvas, this is a website. So on a single page, if I as an entrepreneur want to look at what would I be doing for my company, how would I be taking my company to greater heights, so there's an Excel sheet kind of a format wherein I can fill all the things. So what is the problem that I'm trying to address? What is the solution? What are the key metrics that I'll be measuring for my company, my product, and everything? What is the unique value proposition that my product or company is offering? What are the advantages that my product or company is offering as against the competition? What are the channels, the business model through which I would be working? What are the customer segments? Would I be a niche product? Would I be a intensive marketing kind of a product? Would I be a mass product? From where would I get the revenues? What would be my profitability? So all those things can just be put in one page to just give us an overview as an entrepreneur, that this is what is the direction in which I as a company have to work upon. And finally, this is the last slide, which is just the summary of whatever we have talked. So the 6 P's that we have talked about in today's presentation is the proactive anticipation. So we need to deeply understand the customer's journey, their pain points, and then design the solutions. Let's not start with product coming first. And because I have a product, what we do, it's a natural tendency. It's not, means with everyone it happens like this, that we have a product in hand and then we try to fit the product as per the customer. No, we have to be proactive. Then we have to be objective while pruning our ideas. We have to be practical. If we can work from niche to populist or niche to mass, then we would have greater chances of success. Whatever things we cannot do alone, then we can of course partner for that. And we have to have a strong backbone of policy for our product.